Hey there, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. Woody Bendle here from Next Level Growth Strategies. This week's business tip is something that every one of us can relate to and absolutely benefit from. As consumers, this is something we occasionally experience, which is an odd thing to me. But when we do experience this, it makes a positive impression because of its rarity and it is out of the norm. And when we do experience this, we often share our experience with others and sometimes even back with the organization. So what I'm talking about here is that something that when it is consistently executed and genuinely delivered can become a force shield for your organization called customer advocacy. So what exactly is this thing I'm talking about? Well, I tell you what, stick around because I know you are not going to want to miss out on this week's tip. All right, welcome back everyone. And before we dive on in, if you're a fan of our videos, be sure to give us a like and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on one of our weekly business tips. So not too long ago, I was asked to help an organization improve its customer experience. And to do this, we first started out by doing a bunch of interviews with their customers. And very early on, as we were collecting our data, we began hearing something consistently from customers at a handful of this organization's locations. Mind you, that this was totally unprompted feedback that we were getting, and it was only happening at their highest performing stores. We stumbled on something that we weren't previously capturing in our survey, so we made a running change and started collecting data on a new question that turned out to be the Holy Grail. I'm not kidding. When we analyzed all the data we collected, this one attribute was off the charts in terms of predicting transaction value, conversion rate, repeat traffic, overall satisfaction, and likelihood to recommend. And that attribute was this: I feel like the store associate went above and beyond for me. In the analytics and statistics world, this new metric performed like a message from God. Meaning when we saw this in the data, we saw much higher transaction amounts, much higher conversion rates, much higher overall satisfaction, likelihood to return, and likelihood to recommend. Now, let me pause here for a second and ask you to think about the last time that you feel like someone went above and beyond for you. This doesn't even need to be in a business context, but how did you feel? Impressed? Special? Appreciated? Now, let me ask you another question. How often do you experience this? From anyone? Not that often, right? And there's a reason for that, but it's a lousy reason, and I'll explain that here in a second. And the reason we don't experience this more often is really threefold. The first is leadership without a clear vision and purpose. The second is a result of the first, and that's culture, and in particular not having the right culture and then not being able to hire the right people to amplify that culture. And the third reason is that going above and beyond is sort of abstract, and as a result, hard to explain to people or train them how to consistently go above and beyond. And I remember when we first found this and shared our results with the head of operations, his reaction and response was priceless. He said, look, this is really good work, but how do I teach the 10,000 people in our stores to go above and beyond? I mean, he did have a point there, right? But here's the thing. We already asked ourselves the exact same thing. I mean, after all, what exactly does going above and beyond look like? Well, the good news is that we've been able to figure this out. So my answer to his question was this: you don't. You can't teach going above and beyond, but you can teach the behaviors and activities that cause people to walk away thinking that your associates did go above and beyond. And if you can hire the people who are already naturally wired this way, all the better. For this organization, there were only 5 behaviors or activities that caused customers to say that they felt like the store associates went above and beyond for them. Any one of them by itself made a difference. And the more of them you perform, the higher the likelihood that the customer would come away feeling like the associate did go above and beyond for them. There were also a couple that were super significant, but they weren't things that would naturally make sense in every interaction. But like I said, the good news was that these were all things that they could easily teach, measure, and reinforce. Pretty cool, huh? Not as cool as this, though. After this organization developed a new customer experience program and trained their associates on the core behaviors and activities, they began seeing comp sales like they hadn't seen in years. Now, that's more cool, huh? Okay, so here's this week's business tip. In today's business world, the smallest and simplest things can be the difference between being mediocre and amazing. And hopefully, as a leader, you truly want your customers to feel amazing every time they interact with your associates and your brand. Because I can tell you this with absolute certainty. If you do have customers who feel you're amazing because you go above and beyond for them, when the rest of the world seems to be content with just being average, then your organization is going to have a profitable advantage that is going to be extremely hard to overcome. You just need to figure out what that looks like for your organization's customers and then begin doing it. Over time, this just becomes a part of your organization's culture, and that's the thing that will be your organization's true differentiator. And you know what Peter Drucker said? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Pancakes, anyone? So there you have it. That's this week's tip for getting your organization to its next level of profitable growth by creating clarity, alignment, and consistency. And if you would like some help with figuring out how to go above and beyond for your customers, be sure to give us a call. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.